Hey y'all, welcome back to the channel. Today we're back in the kitchen and I'm bringing you something truly special. I'm making a classic Johnnie Ruth Irving pound cake. If you know, you know. This cake is rich, buttery, and full of that old school goodness that never goes out of style. This recipe has been loved for generations. It's been around for a lot of years and I'm excited to share my take on it. So, whether you're baking for Sunday dinner or a family gathering or just because you're craving something sweet, this pound cake is always a winner. So, grab your ingredients, preheat that oven, and let's get to cooking a cake that tastes just like home. Here are the ingredients that we'll be using to make Miss Johnnie Ruth Irving's pound cake. 3 sticks of butter, softened to room temperature, 2¼ cups of granulated sugar, 7 large eggs, they're at room temperature as well, 2½ cups of cake flour that I'm going to sift later, 3/4 cup or just about 1 container of the condensed sweetened milk. Now I'm going to start my cake by doing what I always do, and that's measuring out my sugar and adding my butter and my sugar into the same big mixing bowl, and we'll get that started. I forgot to mention my extracts. 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract and 2 teaspoons of lemon extract. Now that I have the sugar all measured out, I'm going to get my butter in my bowl, and we'll use my hand mixer today. You're most certainly welcome to use your stand mixer. It might make it a little bit easier, but I didn't have time to pull that out today. So we're going to go ahead and use the hand mixer. Of course, like I told you, I'm starting with my butter and sugar, and I'm going to cream these together until light, fluffy, and pale in color. Now don't rush this step. This is what helps give the cake that perfect texture. So we're going to cream this together for 7 to 10 minutes or until it becomes, like I said, light and fluffy and you don't hear the sugar granules all down in the bottom of your mixing bowl. Now you see how the texture and the color has slightly changed. This is an indicator that our butter and sugar is almost ready to be finished. In the meanwhile, let's go ahead and get our eggs ready to get put into this mixture one at a time. Of course, if you've been around at Memaw's house for a minute, you know that I like to crack my eggs in a separate container so that if there are any shells anywhere around, they won't get into my batter. They'll be in this bowl, and I can easily scoop them out with the other eggshell. Now, if you don't know that tip, let me put you on, like the young people say. You can actually use the shell that you've cracked to scoop into the egg white and get that eggshell out. For some reason, that other eggshell will attract itself to the one that's broken in the white. So try that trick. It's easier than trying to get it out with your fingers or a spoon or anything else. In the meanwhile, let's finish getting our butter and sugar creamed together and get our eggs in one at a time. Before we add our eggs, let's go ahead and add our extracts. We're using lemon and vanilla, and I'm actually using vanilla paste. I purchased my vanilla bean paste from Costco, but the difference between the vanilla bean paste and a regular extract is not only the thickness and the vanilla bean specks that you can see, but the flavor of the vanilla bean paste is intense
It's rich and is concentrated in the vanilla flavor. So if you want more of a vanilla flavor in your cake or your baking, use a vanilla bean paste. You will use it just like you would use the vanilla extract. So if it's 1 teaspoon, you'll use 1 teaspoon of paste. It's all the same, except for the intensity of the flavor. And you see, it colors it just a little bit more. It's adding a little bit more of a brown tint because of the flecks of the vanilla bean. And that's the end of my lesson in vanilla bean paste. Now that I'm done mixing that in a little bit, we can go ahead and add our eggs one at a time. I'm mixing well after each addition just until the yolk disappears. This helps everything stay nice and smooth and keeps the batter from breaking. And when I say breaking, I mean separating. You can tell when a batter has broken. It's not as nice and fluffy and all together. It almost looks curdled. Now that's what I'm talking about. You see how smooth that batter is? That's what we're looking for. Now it's time to get our dry ingredients together, and we're going to do a little sifting today. And that's it for the dry ingredients. That's a surprise because normally we have to add salt and baking soda and everything, but this cake does not require that. So once I'm finished sifting the flour, we'll be ready to add our dry ingredients to our butter and sugar mixture along with the wet ingredients. Really easy. So now that that's done, let's go back to our bowl that I've creamed the butter and sugar and eggs with. I've poured out my condensed sweetened milk, and we're going to start by adding the flour and then some of the sweetened condensed milk and flour and alternate that way. So we'll get this mixed in, and our cake will be ready to go into the pan. And like I said, I'm mixing the flour in gradually and mixing it just until it's incorporated. You don't want to over mix at this stage. You just want to mix it enough to bring it all together. So I'm adding my condensed sweetened milk, and then we'll add the rest of the flour. Now, I couldn't let that sweetened condensed milk sit in the bowl, so I'm going to two-hand that and get that out of there. But normally, I would let the flour be the last. I don't know why that's a rule, but it's always the last thing to go in. But now I'm going to slowly mix that in and get it ready to go into the pan. And my final mix, of course, is by hand. And you see I still have quite a bit of flour. So we're doing okay. We're going to go ahead and mix this in by hand, just folding that flour in gently. And y'all know the reason I like to mix the last bit by hand is so that I can get all of the ingredients from the bottom of the bowl to make sure that all ingredients are incorporated. Now this is how your cake batter should look. Nice and smooth and very thick. And you don't have to worry about seeing any of your ingredients being not mixed well together because you've done it by hand. So let's go ahead and get our pan prepared and get our beautiful batter into the pan. Now, I like to use Pam, the baker's Pam, or any baker spray that has flour and oil in it. Or you can do the old school way and do a little bit of butter in your pan and put some flour in it and get that flour coated on all the butter. That's what my mama used to do, but I like the Pam because it's easy. So let's go ahead now that our pan is prepared and get our batter put in. This batter smells so good. I don't know whether it was the vanilla paste or what it is, but it smells fabulous. You can smell how good it's going to be when you come out of the oven. So now that I've got it in my pan, I'm going to press it down and shake it together so that I can get all of the bubbles out and we can have a nice smooth finish for our cake. And once we get this done, it'll be ready to go into our preheated 325 Fahrenheit oven. It'll be in there for about an hour and 15 minutes, depending on your oven. Now my cake has been in for an hour, and you noticed I put a pan underneath because it did leak from this pan. This is one of those separating angel food cake pans, and I wanted to check whether my cake was done, and it is not done. Like I said, it's been in an hour, so we're going to let it be in there for another 15 or so minutes. And it has been 15 minutes, and it's ready because I've checked it off camera. So it's ready to come out of the oven. All right, y'all, the cake is out of the oven, and look at that crust, perfectly golden. I've let it cool, and now it's time for the best part. We're going to go ahead and slice into it so that you can see what the inside of this cake looks like. It may not be the prettiest thing on the outside, but it is going to be fabulous, I'm sure. So it's cutting nicely, nice clean slices, and let me show you the texture. It should be dense and buttery and beautiful. Yep, and there it is. A beautiful pound cake. We're going to go ahead and taste this because it smells fabulous.
Okay, y'all, so I've let the cake cool. There it is. I've let the cake cool for about 30 minutes in the pan and about 5 minutes, couldn't wait any longer, out of the pan. I'm going to give it a taste test. My taste testers are busy down there, and I just want to taste this for myself. Nice, soft, moist. And you can even see actually, if I can get it a little closer, you almost can see, well, I can see from this vantage point, the vanilla bean, what do you call the vanilla bean specks? The specks of vanilla bean in that cake. It is fabulous. You better taste you some. All right, y'all. That's it for the John and Ruth Irving pound cake. And you saw that beautiful finish. I wish you could smell it through the screen. I hope this recipe brings a little sweetness into your home, the same way it does mine. There's just something good about a pound cake that feels comforting, familiar, and full of love. If you enjoyed baking with me today, don't forget to like, comment, and share this video with someone who appreciates a good old-fashioned dessert. And if you try this recipe, let me know how it turns out. I'd love to hear from you. Until next time, take care of yourselves, keep cooking with love, and I'll see you in the next video. Y'all be blessed. Bye.